In early 2026, thousands of video creators opened a gift from a startup most of them had never worked with. A folder, marketing material, ready to post. Inside, Shrek, Moana, Mickey Mouse, saying things their lawyers would never, ever let them say. Racist things, obscene things, and deepfakes. Real actresses, a sitting president. In videos none of them had approved. The folder came from one of the fastest-growing AI companies on Earth. $500 million a year in estimated revenue. Investors lining up to value it at $5 billion. This file is about a machine that turns attention into money, and about a company that, according to the journalists who opened that folder, discovered the fastest way to build a unicorn is to fake one. Higgsfield was founded in 2023 by Alex Mashrabov, who used to run AI at Snap. Yes, the Snapchat company. The pitch was seductive. Hollywood camera work without Hollywood. Type a prompt, get a cinematic shot. Crash zooms, dolly moves, on your phone. Kazakhstan celebrated it as the country's first unicorn. Silicon Valley celebrated harder. $50 million from GFT Ventures at a $1 billion valuation in September 2025. $80 million more in January, led by Excel, the firm that backed Facebook and Spotify. Valuation, $1.3 billion. By mid-2026, revenue was running at an estimated $500 million a year, and the company was in talks to raise again, at $5 billion. 2 years old, $5 billion. Remember the speed. The speed is the file. How does a 2-year-old company grow that fast? Not with ads, with you. Higgsfield built a program called Earn. Make videos with our tools, post them on TikTok and X, and we pay you, cash and credits, ranked by performance. Forbes reported more than $800,000 paid out to over 10,000 creators in 3 weeks, plus millions in free credits. Look at the route, because it isn't a line, it's a loop. Investor money buys credits. Credits recruit creators. Creators flood every feed on the internet. Virality brings subscribers. Subscribers become revenue. Revenue justifies a higher valuation, and a higher valuation brings more investor money. Every piece of that loop is legal. The question is, what was actually flooding the feeds? In February 2026, Forbes published what was inside the folders. Videos with anti-Asian slurs, delivered in cartoon voices. Moana, a children's character, made to say, quote, "My body is for white people." Deepfakes of Sydney Sweeney, of Zendaya, of President Trump. None of them consented to any of it. Some of it, Forbes reported, came from third-party creators, and some of it was made by Higgsfield's own marketing team. The headlines wrote themselves: a racism and sexism scandal attached to a unicorn. And the company did not exactly deny the strategy. A co-founder told Forbes, quote, "We fully admit that we pushed the envelope, very explicitly. It's more controversial content that gets attention." Read that again. That is not an apology. That is a business model. And then there is the detail this file is named after. Creators recruited to promote Higgsfield received marketing kits, example videos showing off what the AI could supposedly do. Except some of those clips were not AI at all. Forbes found they were stock video templates, lifted from a marketplace called Envato, with Higgsfield's logo pasted on top. An artificial video company whose marketing used real video and called it artificial. They faked the fake. Meanwhile, paying customers were finding their own surprises. The flagship offer was one word: unlimited. The fine print was a battery. Generate too much, and your unlimited plan slows to a crawl. The shiny premium models on the posters, Sora, Kling, Vio, still bill credits on every single generation. Unlimited covered the older, cheaper ones. In fact, reviewers counted that Higgsfield changed what unlimited means at least 3 times in 2026 alone. Users report plans changing after purchase. Concurrent generations cut from 8 to 4 to 2, depending on the month you looked. In December 2025, a wave of account bans and unexplained charges got its own nickname from the community: the Christmas Grinch. And then, the exit. Because getting in takes 1 click. Getting out, users report, is a maze. Cancellations stalled or denied on Discord. Some users told their cancellation, quote, "couldn't be verified." One reported case, 731 credits pulled back out of an account after the user had already canceled. Refunds turned down by pointing at one clause of the fine print, Section 9.3, which happens to exclude renewals. On Trustpilot, thousands of reviews have piled up, and the angry ones read like a single voice. Complaints reached the Better Business Bureau, and somewhere out there, somebody was frustrated enough to register an entire website, Higgsfieldsucks.com, just to document it all. By the way, this channel is free, and we will never throttle you. Subscribe. Now the part nobody says out loud. And to be fair, this part is bigger than Higgsfield. There is no pay-per-video here, no create on demand. You pick a subscription tier, or you don't touch the tool at all. Meanwhile, the internet has filled up with tutorials. Build a faceless channel, automate an entire animated series. Fully scalable, says the creator, demoing exactly 1 minute of footage. So let's run the numbers the tutorials skip. The premium models bill 40 to 70 credits per generation. A generation is about 8 seconds. 1 minute of finished video, if every single take were perfect, costs hundreds of credits. Nobody's takes are all perfect. Now follow one of those tutorials for real. A 7-minute video, one a week. You are spending hundreds of dollars a month before a single view, before a single subscriber. Why does no tutorial mention this? Remember the Earn program. Many of the loudest voices teaching the tool are enrolled in the machine that pays for its promotion. The silence is not an oversight. The silence is sponsored. Below the line, as always, the people who never signed anything. The actresses whose faces were used without consent. The subscribers who paid for unlimited and got a battery. The beginners who followed a tutorial into a subscription they could never sustain. The 10,000 creators grinding for affiliate pennies while their feeds, and yours, filled up with what one journalist simply called the slop factory. And one quieter casualty, the truth about what these tools can actually do. When the demo reel is stolen stock footage, nobody knows what is real anymore, which for an AI video company is almost poetic. Now the part of this file that should genuinely unsettle you. February 9th, 2026, Higgsfield's X account suspended. February 11th, the Forbes investigation lands. The CEO concedes there were, quote, gaps between the company's values and its processes. And then March arrives, and Higgsfield launches a compliance tool. Software that flags likeness risks in AI content. Software designed to catch exactly the kind of material its own marketing had been handing out. June, estimated revenue crosses $500 million a year. The $5 billion conversations continue. Look at the chart. The line barely notices February. The scandal did not stop the machine, because outrage was never a threat to the growth loop. Outrage was the growth loop. To be precise about what this file is and what it is not. At the time of recording, there is no criminal indictment here, no regulator's complaint, no court ruling. What exists is a documented investigation by Forbes, consumer complaints, user reports, at least one reported lawsuit over billing practices, and the company's own words, including that quote about controversy. Higgsfield says it is fixing its processes. Maybe it will. We will tell you what happens. Nobody broke into anything. The videos were fake. The unlimited was fake. Part of the marketing was fake footage, pretending to be a different kind of fake. But the revenue is real. The valuation is real. And the faces in those deepfakes, they were real too. For a company built to generate artificial video, the most profitable thing Higgsfield ever generated was attention. And attention doesn't ask permission.